there is and will be a market for a player like Martin Necas.
Oh, for sure.
This is not a, it's funny. The most tweets I get about players are like, do you think they can get something for Kotkaniemi? This is not that. This is not, do you think they can get something for Necas? This is, will they be offered enough? This is, how much can you get for Martin Necas? This is,
what are you going to get?
Which teams are interested in Martin Necas? Not our teams interested in Martin Necas. Which teams are interested in Martin Necas? And then how can you navigate it in a way that most benefits your team if you decide to move on from him? Because I want to emphasize this. They don't have to trade him. I know that there's rumblings, and his dad said in an interview that he wants to be traded, and he wants to be a centerman, and he wants to be on the first power play, and I get it. I know. But there's also something to be said for looking at him and saying, hey, we heard your request. No, you're too good to move on from. We want to keep you. So there's a lot of moving parts. One thing we know is there's a market for him. Elliot Friedman said as much here, talking about Vancouver.
Yes, I do think the Canucks are one of the teams that are interested. Necas and the Hurricanes are at a bit of a crossroads salary-wise. His contract is up. I don't think there's any question about the skill and the ability of the player. I think the Hurricanes think he's a talented guy, and he definitely is a talented guy. But I do think the two of them have a disagreement on what his worth is contract-wise. They have not been able to do it. And I think that is why you could see the possibility that he is traded.
Vancouver. Okay. Let's talk.
For Montreal, mentioned being very interested.
Montreal, okay, let's talk. Right? You want to be the power player in this one, right? You called me. We can talk. How do you want to start this conversation? Like, you can be the boss in this deal because there is a market for Martin Necas. If everyone wants him, first, actually, here's priority number one, and I say this about all trades. If you put someone on the block and everybody wants him, reevaluate to make sure you want to move him, right? Because if every team wants him, that's probably a pretty good player, right? If 10 teams call as soon as you're like, hey, he's available. As soon as they hear he might be available, if you get 10 teams calling, make sure you do a full evaluation on if you want to trade that guy. Okay? Then if you decide, you know what, our roster is built in a way that we can get more value from moving him, if you have to, you better get a haul. Right? And even more so for a team like the Canes. And this is why I think they might want to wait till they have their GM to orchestrate this. The Canes, based on how good they are, won't have many chances to reload in a really big way, right? Most of the assets that they have on their roster, they want to keep around for a long time, right? It's not like, we could trade Necas, or in a couple years we might trade so-and-so. In most cases, so-and-so is someone they want to keep. They're not going to be drafting very high anytime soon. Right? You don't expect them to have a top 5 pick anytime soon. So Martin Necas is like their big asset, right? He's their big trade chip, and you don't want to mess that up. Right? It's one of the few opportunities during this core you have to bring in a high ticket item. Right? It's they've got a gift card that's worth Martin Necas on the open market if they decide they want to move him. And anyone that's ever had a gift card, right, it feels a little better spending it, right? It's like, well, it's not cash, right? I can't go put it towards something else. Like, this is your chance to go a little crazy. Get that thing that you normally wouldn't buy for yourself. Go, right? So if you're the Canes, that's what's going on here. Martin Necas, if you decide to move him, which I emphasize is an if, is the big, that's your big spending spree for the year. You don't get to go, I'm going to go get a right-hand shot centerman. And then, 2 months later go, all right, now let's go trade for a defenseman. We need to replenish our defense. It's like, no. You already spent your gift card. You already used the thing that you get to go splurge on. So make sure you get it right. Maybe there's picks involved. Maybe it's another player similar to him that you're going to have to extend on a contract. Maybe it's someone with term where you don't have to worry about the contract for a while. Maybe it's a young player. Maybe it's a prospect. Who knows? I mean, the world is your oyster once you decide to do it. Then it's about making sure everybody knows about each other. Right? I talked about this when the Ullmark rumors came about last week. And I thought, well, okay. This is something that everybody knows now. Right? So if Vancouver wants to come and lowball you, right, wants to come in with a short offer and go, well, we know that he's unhappy, so we're going to give you a lowball offer and try to help you out getting out from under that situation. Then you can look at him and go, I don't know if you read. We're talking with them about Ullmark, so we'll just go there. If you're going to lowball us, we'll just go in that direction. We'll bring in a stud goalie. Let that work. Oh, we were talking with so-and-so. They've already offered us blah, 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 blah. And we were talking with so-and-so. They already offered us blah, 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 blah. So you're going to have to show up and win. You're going to have to win the auction. You know, it's the best auction scene in movies? Happy Gilmore showing up to buy grandma's house, right?
Oh, yeah. $275.
Yeah. Oh, no, this is good. We might get it for cheaper than we thought.
No, maybe not.
Maybe not. That's what you want everyone to think of when they're coming to buy Martin Necas. Like, oh, he's upset? His dad said he wants to be traded? Oh, this is great. We might end up getting him for cheaper than we thought. Middle of the road prospect. Nope. All right, it's going to take the full asking price and then some. Now you need to go find Shooter McGavin. Let that guy really overpay for Martin Necas.
So there is a player that is being floated around from Vancouver that possibly could be included in a trade with Martin Necas. The name is Filip Hronek. He's a right-handed defenseman who's 26 years old, going into a year of arbitration-eligible restricted free agency, so similar to Martin Necas in that regard. But this is a guy who has put up a lot of points, had 43 assists last year, 5 goals, so 48 points in 81 games, was plus 33. And you want to replace a right-handed defenseman, maybe like a Brett Pesce? Well, that's what he is. So you can replace, like, okay, we're taking something away here, but we can replace a need down over here too.
And then you have to find the money.
Yep.
Because obviously the cap becomes a little bit more gymnastic-like there. Got to stretch it and contort it in different ways.
Got to do a lot of different things.